Hey, Ryan Wakefield here, and this is your social media tip of the week. Man, I think I've got a really great tip that can help a lot of churches out there. Before we jump into that, I want to make sure you're aware this is the last week. If you want to jump into the Church Marketing University test drive, that's right, we've opened up all of CMU completely for free. All 20 modules, all 150 videos, all the downloads, all the PDFs, all the templates, all the PSD files, Photoshop files. They're all available for free between now and October 19th. You can jump in, look around, go through the modules with your team completely free. If you want to get access to that, just leave a comment below. And what I'm going to do, if you look here, I'm going to send you over a link to this form. Nothing pretty to look at. It's just an internal form to get your information that allows me to give you a login to CMU. I will send you that back via email. Then you can jump in and have complete access between now and October 19th. Church Marketing University, the fall enrollment is coming up between now, or actually October 12th through the 19th. And so that's why we're trying this new thing around open enrollment time, so you can get in and see what Church Marketing University is all about. I've had some amazing feedback from churches who have been able to jump in and go through some of the modules and already start making progress. And so if you haven't already, leave a comment below. I'll send you this form and you can jump in. So let's jump in now to the tip of the week. And I'm really excited about this one because as I talk with pastors and churches, lead pastors, creative teams, there seems to always be this tension between the creative, maybe you have a volunteer or staff running your social media, and then the leadership of the church. Like if you're on the creative side of this, you're often probably asking questions like, how do I get my leadership to buy in? How do we get them to try new things? How do we get them to maybe spend some focus, some time and energy? How do I get my lead pastor to give me advance notice of what we're going to be doing more than a day out? How do we plan this out? Or how do we get them to invest money, resources, time, energy, focus, all those questions here. And then on the lead pastor side, you guys might be saying, hey, how do I get the creative team on board with the vision? How do we get the social media actually to align to help the church move forward? And so there could be this a little tension between maybe the two sides. And for some churches, you are the lead pastor and it is you are running the social media accounts and maybe you're just getting started or you've got a church of 40 or 50 and that's great. This tip will be for all the above. And let me just say too, if that resonated with you, if that topic resonates with you, when you jump into Church Marketing University, jump into the lead pastor module because I'm going to talk about how creatives, how you need to approach your lead pastor or lead pastors. And lead pastors, I've got episodes in there on how to actually work well with creatives and with millennials. So if you feel like this topic is resonating, jump into that module once you get access. But here's the tip. Here's what I want you to consider doing that could help both sides of this equation to be on one team moving forward with social media. And it's this. Integrate your social media into your sermon and preaching calendar. Some of you preach topically and hopefully you're sitting down and kind of planning that out, your sermon series. What I want to encourage you to do is think up front as a part of that process, what is going to be our approach for social media during this series? Or if, let's say you preach, you're an expository preacher, so you preach maybe through books of the Bible, you could do this seasonally. You're asking the same questions. But philosophically, here's what I'm encouraging you to think about doing, is integrating the social media components with your planning and your preaching. Here's what that allows you to do. As you're getting prepared and you're planning out, let's say, a new series, you think, how can we uniquely utilize social media during this series? So for instance, let's say you're launching a brand new January series where you're calling people to get into the Word and prayer and start their new year off right. You're going to think, how can we leverage social media uniquely during this time? Well, what if we kind of took that idea and we did weekly devotions to kind of flesh that out? Or we all went through a 30-day emphasis on one devotional book, maybe we're all going through as a church, and then social media is the conversation piece. So you're bringing that social element into the planning and the preaching element. And this allows you to do a lot of things. One is it brings social media and gives it a seat at the table. Therefore, it's no longer an afterthought. It's no longer like, oh, we planned all this stuff out and then, oh my goodness, we forgot to tell the creative team what we were doing, or we forgot to really consider social media. It gives social media a seat at the leadership table. What it also allows you to do is it allows you to try new things without being boxed in that you're going to do those things forever. So let's say you're doing a new sermon series, and as a part of that series, your team that's coming up with the topics or planning it out, you could say, what if we did a Facebook Live once a week to carry on this conversation every Wednesday? And so you go live, but it takes the pressure off that this isn't something you're going to do forever. You're not boxed into having to do a Facebook Live every week for the rest of your life. No, you're committing to do it for that series. So it takes the pressure off and like, hey, let's try it out. If it goes great, awesome. Maybe we consider how do we leverage that moving forward. If it's a bomb, you say, man, we're only going to do this for 4 or 6 weeks anyway. Let's ride it out, and then we're going to cancel it. After that, we're going to try something new in the next series. It also allows you to try putting some money behind this. So maybe you're coming up with a series that is really, you're going to leverage social media in a totally new way. So maybe you're doing a worship series. And so you're saying, hey, let's carry this conversation on and let's do live midweek worship during this worship series, and let's put some money behind boosting that content to our people. Or let's go deeper into a Facebook group. Let's start a Facebook group and let's carry on the conversation that's really for our people to go deeper into this topic. We've done a number of this stuff at Summit Park Church early on when Twitter was a little bit bigger deal. We launched in the fall of 2013, but one of the early series we called it Jesus Retweeted, where we talked about the Sermon on the Mount. And we talked about some of Jesus, famous kind of sayings out of that sermon. And we encouraged right at the beginning of every message to people to break out their phones and let's have that conversation on Twitter during the message. So we utilize social media in a unique way during that series. So it could look at a number of different ways for a number of different churches. But what this allows you to do is get everybody on the same page. It allows you to try out some things. It allows you to invest some money in a short run that is going to have impact because this is what the church is doing. It directly ties over into the message and the sermon. And so I'm really excited about this idea because I think it can really help churches not only with social media to increase engagement and comments and awareness and likes and shares and follows, but it can also move the mission of the church forward because it's going to be directly tied in to what you're doing as a church as your messages. So I'm curious, has your church done anything like this before? Have you leveraged social media in a unique way based on the series that you're going through? I would love to have your ideas. Put them below, because as a church community, that's what's cool to see, is how are other churches, what are other ideas that have worked for your church. Now you can comment that below. I'm also going to post this over in the Church Marketers Facebook group. We have a private Facebook group for people a part of Church Marketing University and a part of Social Church. And so if you want to jump over into that, we're going to carry this conversation on as well in the private Church Marketers group. So that's it. Hopefully this helps advance your church, helps bring social media and leverage it even more for you reaching your city. I'm super pumped about this. Again, this is the last week, jumping back what I first talked about, to get into Church Marketing University. So if you haven't already, leave a comment below and I'll message you the link to this form. And I'd love to see you guys inside Church Marketing University. God bless, and we'll see you back next week.